Hi folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with the mighty Jingles. Today we are looking at the SU-85 Russian Tier 5 tank destroyer again. We looked at it previously, but that was prior to patch 7.5 when it had the 107mm gun. That gun has been removed in patch 7.5 due to the matchmaker rebalance. This tank will never face a Tier 8 tank again unless you platoon up with somebody whose matchmaking enables you to face Tier 8 tanks. This is a Tier 5 Russian tank destroyer. It will never face anything higher than Tier 7. So it didn't really need that 107mm gun anymore, and that's why it was removed. Now you'll find that if you did have that 107mm gun installed on this thing, then as soon as you logged in after 7.5 went live, the gun was removed, you were refunded 14,500 XP for the research cost, you were given the money it cost to buy it, and all the ammunition was sold as well. And instead, this thing was sticking out of the front of your SU-85. Which kind of makes sense because it is an SU-85 and this is an 85mm gun. And it's a really, really good 85mm gun. The D5S 85BM. Stat-wise, rate of fire, 10 rounds per minute. That's pretty good. The penetration is very good as well. I mean, 144mm of penetration, but you're never going to have to shoot at anything higher than Tier 7 with this thing. While that could give you problems shooting at Tier 8 heavies, for example, Tier 7 heavies, yeah, that'll do. Just to put this into perspective, if you look at the German Tier 6 and 7 medium tanks, the gun they get only has 132mm of penetration, so that's not bad at all. Now the damage isn't spectacular, and this is a bit of a departure for the Russian tank destroyer and tank guns, because traditionally the Russian guns have all been about the derp. Loads of penetration, loads of damage, lousy accuracy, horrific aiming time, very slow rate of fire. And this is a complete departure. This is not like any other of the other Russian guns. Because it's good penetration, fast rate of fire, reasonable damage. Holy cow, look at that accuracy. 0.34 on a Russian gun? What's going on? That's positively German. And the aiming time, well, it's not great. It's not bad either. I mean, we're not up to the 3-second French standards of aiming time that are common on most of the French mediums and so on and so on, and lights and so on and so on. But 2.3 seconds is adequate. We can deal with that. So what does this mean to how you play the tank? Well, with the 107mm gun that it did have at Tier 5, and if you look at my previous SU-85 video, you will see me using that thing, and it's a bit of a mini troll cannon. It's like a mini BL-10. With that gun, this thing performed in its tier kind of like the Object 704 and the ISU-152 with the BL-10 performed, because it put out so much damage if you hit anything with it. You could play it like a normal tank destroyer and hide in the bushes and just wait in ambush for things to come wandering into your sights and then vaporize them. Or you could be a bit more aggressive and trundle forward with the big boys, but pulverising whatever they were engaging, and that worked fine. And you could do that in the ISU-152, you can do it in the Object 704, really recommend it in the 704, and you could do that in the SU-85. You cannot do that in the SU-85 anymore, because you no longer have that monster alpha damage, and you are just as fragile as you always have been. Previously with the 107mm gun, it didn't matter that you were weak and you couldn't take much hits as long as you got the first shot in. Well, that is no longer the case. Now it does take more than 2, 3, sometimes 4 shots to kill what you're shooting at. In that respect, this thing now plays a lot like the Stug 3 German Tier 5 tank destroyer, and that's no bad thing. Moving on from the gun, the rest of the stats, it's quite a fast little thing. It can do 55 kilometers per hour, and it only weighs 30 tons, depending on what modules you've got fitted. Mine's 29.85 tons, it's 30 tons. It's got a 480 horsepower engine. The acceleration isn't too bad. It climbs hills reasonably well. It's quite quick and mobile, and it has a very, very good traverse speed, 35 degrees per second. So, like the Stug, it's small, it's low profile, it's stealthy, it's hard to detect, it can relocate very, very quickly, and it has an accurate, rapid firing, high penetrating, relatively, gun. And so if you're used to playing the Stug, you're probably going to do very well with this thing. even in a tier 7 game, which is now the highest tier battle that it can get into, there is absolutely nothing that this gun cannot penetrate. So a lot of people were complaining about the lack of the 107mm gun. Now, it killed the SU-85. It really doesn't. It just means you have to play this thing differently. Armour-wise, well, yeah, it's just as crappy armour as it ever was. It's not even as well armoured as a Stug, and everybody knows how fragile a Stug is. 45mm at the front, sides, 40 at the rear. So it's quite consistent armour, but you know there are weak spots. It's a decent slope, but that hatch there is very easily penetrated. What am I talking about? The whole of the front is very easily penetrated. It's got a good slope. You can get bounces on this thing, but you should not be relying on your armour to protect you. You should be relying on not getting seen in order to protect you, because it's a very low profile machine. It's got a very good camo value, and you will usually get the first shot in this with this thing, especially if you have scouts up in front of you. When I say scouts, I don't necessarily mean light tanks. I just mean other people up in front of you spotting the targets for you. And that is where this thing has its biggest failing. That's because it only has a 280 meter view range, which is absolutely crap. It's all well and good sitting in a bush waiting for them to come, but the chances are by the time you spot them, if you're the furthest one forward in an ambush position and there's nobody in front of you lighting targets up for you, by the time you spot them, they are guaranteed to spot you back, certainly as soon as you fire. And you better be sure you can kill them in 2 or 3 shots, because 2 or 3 shots is all it's going to take to kill you. You only have 350 hit points. So for that reason, I always use a camo net and binocular telescopes on this thing, because it just does not have the view range to be a perfect ambush machine. You could do that with the 107mm gun, because getting the first shot with that gun in, you are generally going to win. That's not the case with this thing. It doesn't do enough damage, and you will end up having to trade a few shots with what's firing back at you if you are the furthest one forward and you're doing your own spotting. Now, the other thing that I fit on this is the medium caliber tank gun rammer, basically because more shots are better. But I would definitely say you want a camo net and you want binocular telescopes on this, because you can't always rely on your team to do your spotting for you. And you will wish you had these things if you end up having a spot for your own targets. Weak spots, well, you know, the whole thing's a big weak spot. It doesn't really matter where you get shot. From the front, that gun mantle can be quite bouncy, but not because it's especially thickly armoured, but because it's so rounded and sloped. Stuff that hits that has a hard time striking at a flat angle. It'll tend to bounce off. You can bounce shots from the front of the armour, but don't count on it. Your armour is not there. It's not going to save you. If you're relying on your armour, well, you're going to die, because what happens as soon as you need something to save you, it won't. This thing is very stealthy. It not being seen is what's going to save you in this thing, and for that you need to know how to read the battlefield, see where your tanks are going, take advantage of what they're shooting at, and shoot at it. So how does it actually perform in the field? Well, I was very, very impressed with it. You can't play it like you used to play it. You have to play it more like a Stug, and it definitely excels in that capacity. I was very, very impressed with the way it performed. Even in a tier 7 game, you can still get kills with this thing, and you can still hurt enemy tanks. And tier 7 is the worst thing that you'll be facing in this thing now. The days of trying to take down tier 8 heavies are long gone with the new matchmaker spread. So let's have a look at a couple of games, and I think you may be pleasantly surprised at the outcome. So here we are, SU-85 with the 85mm gun. We're on Arctic. I was originally planning on heading for the traditional tank destroyer slot, where that Jagdpanzer 4 is up there, but it was getting a bit crowded, so I decided to head down here and support the guys going down to the corner of Fail and check out the gun traverse on that thing. It's really, really good. The gun depression is all right. It's not great, but it's what you'd expect. Well, one, it's a Russian, and two, the gun's mounted so low in the hull, you can't expect to have great gun depression. But look how fast it is. It's still just as mobile as it ever was. Nothing's really changed, and fantastic gun traverse. and a decent ammo loadout as well, 38 rounds. I'm not using any high explosives. So what we're doing here is what I talked about earlier. Now, despite the fact that I have no cover whatsoever, I am sitting completely in open ground.
That's gotta hurt.
I can shoot at these guys without fear of being shot back at. Oh, can't get any further back. Yeah, I can shoot at these guys without any fear whatsoever of them shooting back at me, because I am outside of their view range. Now, even though they all have better view range than I do, I only have 280 metres of view range, and they are outside my view range, but I can see them because our friendly tanks can see them, and I'm within the radio range of those friendly tanks, so I can quite happily sit out here completely in the open, pumping shot after shot after shot into these fellas, and they don't even know I'm here. So this is what I'm talking about, letting other tanks go ahead of you, spot targets for you, so you can sit here shooting fish in a barrel like this. And this is why we call this the corner fail, because it's where all the idiots go to die. Now, you never turn your flank to 5 or 6 enemy guns at the best of times. And this ain't the best of times.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
So they're all badly beaten up.
Bounced off.
Their artillery cannot help them when they come down around that corner. Here, by the way, I'm just aiming for his commander's cupola. It's a tough shot, but I've got nothing else to shoot at. I might hit it. So now, our guys are going forward, and any second now they're all going to move into my line of fire, and I'm not going to be able to help them anymore. So have a look at the map. Northern flank is looking a bit and that T-34-85 over there, he's got 2 kills. He's going to get a third. We've got a VK-3601 who's just basically camped the base for the entire game, despite the fact that he's one of our best tanks. Yeah, we lose this match. Shouldn't come as any surprise. However, he can still be useful. I'm going to use him to spot these buggers as they come rolling into our base. Always keeping an eye on your flanks. This thing is hellishly vulnerable. So, yep, flanks clear. Oh, here he comes. Now this guy's got 3 kills, and he's basically got the same gun as me. And now he's dead. So I want to back off because I know that IS will be ready to shoot. And that's when I spot the Easy 8 that we pobbled earlier. And of course this is the moment when the gun fails me. 2 shots, both of them went wide. So keep that rock between myself and the IS and hope this guy stops. Oh, and he does. Thank you. Now, 3001H, it's tier 6 German medium tank. Now his first shot misses me. Now this is important, this is a lesson. I've hit him twice. His first shot missed. He hits me once. I've hit him 3 times. I will hit him a 4th time before he can fire back. And then he kills me. And he still has 4% health left. I mean, he's pretty badly beaten up, but I'm dead and he isn't. Never, ever, ever forget that not being shot at is your only and your biggest and only defense in this thing. You no longer have the alpha damage to bully tanks in front of you into A, backing off, or B, trying to take a second shot when all it takes is 2 shots from you to kill them, because it takes 5 shots for you to kill a tier 6 medium, and in those 5 shots he is going to kill you. You cannot count on the armour in this thing to protect you. You start taking fire, you've screwed up, you're gonna die, or your team's screwed up and you're gonna die, but either way you're just as dead. So, but you know, still tier 7 game, 3 kills, and we ended up damaging another 4, I think. So not a bad match. We did end up losing because the team sucked. But we did quite well. Now, let's move on and have another replay. Now, when you were top tier in the SU-85 with the 107mm gun, you were hell on wheels. In a tier 5 maximum game, that 107mm gun made you just as overpowered as the KV used to be when it had the 107mm gun before the 7.3 Russian tank split, when it got swapped in between the KV-1 and the KV-2. Can you still achieve what you used to be able to achieve in the SU-85 in a top tier 5 game? Hell yes you can. As always, it has always been about reading the battlefield, looking at the map, figuring out where you need to go to do the most damage or the most good. I suspected this fella behind me was botting. He just parked it behind me and then started auto firing straight ahead, so I was sure this fella was a bot. So nothing spotted. We'll move up to the next set of bushes, remembering my really crappy view range. Give my binos and camo net time to kick in. Missed the first shot. Oh, and now he's in cover. Uh-huh.
They're hit. Enemy armor
There's one.
destroyed. Got him.
There's two.
We nailed him back. We finished him
There's
off.
three.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
There's four. That one missed.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
There's five. None of these guys have a clue where I am. In a tier 5 game, that 280 meters view range isn't that bad, especially if you're in cover and you have a camo net and you have binocular telescopes. You can generally spot them all before they spot you, with some exceptions. I feel quite dirty for taking this shot. Alright, that one missed.
Enemy armor is
Sorry.
hit.
I don't like shooting at Luxes. They're too cute. Oh, I don't think I'm going to get this guy.
We
Oh,
finished him off.
alright, there's Top Gun. There's KV-1 down there, but he's got all sorts of problems. Initially I'm thinking of going to help finish him off, but then I realised, nah, waste of a shot. He's surrounded. Oh no, the Sherman killed the Lux. You big bully. Yeah, KV-1 on 1%. I'm not even going to waste my time going after him. I need more kills. My gun hungers. Can we get Bolter's medal? Oh yeah, we can. Come to daddy. Need to make sure this hits, so you get close. Boom, and there is Bolter's medal. Oh no, wait, no, that's Top Gun. Sorry, nope. We didn't kill him. We hit him, but we didn't kill him.
Gotcha.
That's Bolter's medal. So there is absolutely nothing whatsoever wrong with the SU-85, even though it's had its 107mm gun removed. This thing is fine. You just have to play it like you'd play the Stug 3. And I'm not going to get 8 kills. Not before we run out of time. So, yeah, 15 shots fired, 11 at the target. Not bad. 2 damage, 7 killed. Only 1 detected. So it turned out that all those guys on that long stretch of road that I thought I was actually detecting, I wasn't. My team were detecting them, and I was killing them. And Top Gun, obviously. But that was also a boltless metal game, because they were all tier 4 or higher. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the SU-85. That 85mm gun that it gets, that replaced the 107mm gun, is a fine gun. It just means you have to learn to play the thing slightly differently. But if you already own and enjoy playing a Stug 3, you already know exactly how to play the SU-85 from now on. Credit-wise, I mean, yeah, it was a boltless metal game, but these guys were only tier 4. In fact, did I kill anything that was tier 5? Just the Panzer 3-4. So, which is tier 5, isn't it? Yes, it is, I think. Let's have a quick look. Yep, it's tier 5. Yeah, so, yeah, not a massive amount of XP. I mean, it was a 1000 XP match, even though it was 7 kills. They were all lower tier than me, so not a massive amount of credits, but still a healthy down profit and a good amount of XP. This thing's a keeper. Yeah, it's lost its 107mm gun. No, it's not crap. It's a great machine. It was a great machine. It's still a great machine. If you've got it, you're going to still have fun with this fantastic little tier 5 Russian tank destroyer. So, I have been the Mighty Jingles, running up a cricket score in the SU-85. Hope you enjoyed the replay, and if you have an SU-85, don't worry, it's fine. I'll catch you next time.